We continue to get reactions to the news that the faces of two political heavyweights and bitter rivals of the 70s will share the latest banknote, set to roll out in the coming year. Assistant Lecturer of Public Policy and Political Leadership at the University of the West Indies, Damian Gordon, has been weighing in.
The Most Honorable Michael Manley and the Most Honorable Edward Seaga, who are contemporaries and rivals, will appear together on the new $2,000 banknote.
There were mixed views among Jamaicans a day after Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke's announcement that political rivals Michael Manley and Edward Seaga will feature on the new $2,000 banknote. In justifying the decision, Dr. Clarke argued that the country went through a near civil war experience in the 1970s when the rivalry between the two political figures was intense. He therefore explained the significance of the two men appearing on the banknote.
We must restore unity in our society. Our symbolism must not seed division. Instead, it should forge unity and lift us up in the process.
But Assistant Lecturer of Public Policy and Political Leadership at the University of the West Indies, Damian Gordon, isn't sold on this idea, contending that the government should have seized the opportunity to honor cultural icons.
Why not look outside the politicians now and include some cultural icons as well? Persons would have perhaps been a little bit more happy if you had a Bob Marley or a Louis Benny Cobley or some other cultural icons as opposed to former prime ministers or former political figures.
The finance minister stressed that the government received approval from the families of the two deceased leaders. However, Mr. Gordon believes the move may anger the opposition.
The reality is that Michael Manley and Edward Seaga are ideological opposites, extreme ideological opposites. Their political and economic policies and philosophies were literally world apart. And therefore, what supporters of the People's National Party and Michael Manley see is an attempt to create some kind of equivalence between both individuals, and that may not sit well with those supporters and people who consider themselves to be disciples or adherents of the philosophies and the politics of Michael Manley.
Additionally, he says he sees no relevance in a $2,000 banknote, and including Mr. Seaga in the pool of the country's national heroes and past prime ministers lacked merit.
But certainly within the tenure of this current administration, an attempt to commemorate or recognize the contribution of Edward Seaga as an icon, as a pioneer of the country's development and progress. Because, there have been some questions about Edward Seaga historically, about his contribution to Jamaican politics. But the Jamaica Labour Party has made moves in recent time that suggest that they are keen about, recognizing the place of Edward Seaga as a builder and as an icon of the country's development.
In his presentation Tuesday, the finance minister also announced that former prime ministers Alexander Bustamante and Norman Manley, who were founding fathers of independent Jamaica, will appear together on the upgraded $1,000 note. Herman Green, TVJ News.
So why didn't the government take into consideration other significant national figures? Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clarke says that wouldn't be as easy as it sounds.
The process of getting someone on a banknote is quite lengthy. You have the permissions and so forth. And not everyone, not everyone wants to necessarily be on a commercial thing like a banknote.
Speaking with Dion Jackson Miller, he also responded to questions about the omission of cultural icons like Bob Marley and Louise Bennett Coverley.
As much as possible, having that principle, and then the second principle is to have the leaders appearing in chronological order, subject to them being on a higher note than they were before, you end up with this arrangement.
Now, the only note which will have one picture is the $100 note, which will bear the face of national hero Marcus Garvey.